Greetings, patrons of my inn. I am the prideful innkeeper, and today I was asked by one of my patrons, Genocidia, to tell the tale of elemental powers and those who can wield them. Who, you might ask? Well, the shamans. So sit back and relax and have an ale and listen to my tale, for we will go into the history of the shaman. Long ago, the pantheon of titans went from planet to planet, forming them to perfection. Then, one day long ago, they stumbled upon the world of Azeroth. They came upon a war between the elemental lords that served a greater evil, also known as the Old Gods. These elemental lords were known as Alakir the Wind Lord, Neptulon the Tide Hunter, Ragnaros the Fire Lord, and Therozane the Stone Mother. The Titans fought against the old gods and the elemental lords. First, they locked away the elemental lords and their plane of existence. Then, they shackled the old gods in their eternal prisons. But one day, the elemental lords granted their powers to these warriors, also known as the shaman. These four elemental lords might have ruled over the planet of Azeroth, but their grasp did not extend to the world of Draenor. It was quite a different story. For example, like the shamans of Ner'zhul and Drekthar, they did not get their abilities from the elemental lords, but the primal elements. The way shamans were granted their abilities are by asking the favor of that element, and if willing, the element will grant the ability. Most shamans commonly worship the elements Therozane the Stone Mother and Neptulon the Tide Hunter, due to the fact that they are calmer elements and would not be so harsh of punishment. Though some shamans take the risk of worshipping Alakar and Ragnaros. If lucky, the shaman will be granted to use those abilities that day, or there is a chance they will be ripped apart and morphed into hideous elemental creatures. There are many races in Azeroth that can use the ability of the shaman. That doesn't mean, though, that they can master it. The most common races to see as a shaman are the orcs, the tauren, and the dwarves. Now, there are the Draenei, but they do not fancy over the ability of arcane magic and holy magic. The first Draenei to use shaman's ability was Farseer Nobindo. Nobindo was once a vindicator of the Draenei race. During the assault on Shattered City, the orcs had a red mist that turned the surviving Draenei into what is today known as the Broken. He prayed daily to the Naru for help, but he was never answered until it wasn't a Naru that answered him, but the elemental air on Draenor. He would then teach the other Draenei who were willing to learn of the ability of the shaman, but most Draenei disliked using the ability that destroyed their people. But Velen, the prophet of the Draenei, allowed the practice because he thought it could end up saving his people. Restoration shamans are commonly known for their healing abilities and their use of one-handed weapons, usually an axe or a mace, with the offhand of a shield. They commonly call upon the elemental lord Neptulon, using his abilities to heal their allies. One of the common shamans known to use this talent is Farseer Nobindo. Though he does use restoration abilities, he is also known for his elemental skills. This will bring us in to our next elemental ability. Last but not least are the elemental shamans. These shamans wield the same weapons as restoration, but instead of healing, they use their powers of all four elements to defeat their foes. When asking for their abilities, they must bestow a greater gift, for they are using all four elements. These elemental shamans would be commonly known as Ner'zhul and Drekthar, and many, many more. Shamans commonly use the ability of elemental because it is more powerful and more rich in combat, but yet has a greater risk because of the elemental lords they serve. My, that was quite a tale indeed, and it was full of story and adventure. The shamans are indeed very powerful and rule the world of Azeroth for a very, very long time. Thank you all for joining me. So have an ale on me, and I'll see you soon.